24th of December, 1914. I've just been through one of the most extraordinary scenes imaginable. Tonight is Christmas Eve. I came up into the trenches this evening for my tour of duty in them. Firing was going on all the time, and the enemy machine guns, they were at it hard. They were firing at us. Then, at around 7 o'clock, the firing stopped. I was in my dugout. I was reading a paper. The mail was being dished out. It was reported to me that the Germans had lighted up their trenches all along our front. We had been calling to one another for some time, Christmas wishes and other things. I went out and I shouted, "No shooting!" And then somehow the scene became a peaceful one. All our men, they got out of the trenches and they sat on the parapet. The Germans did the same. And they talked to one another in English and in broken English. I got on top of the trench and I talked German, and I asked them to sing a German Volkslied, which they did. Then our men sang quite well, and each side clapped and cheered. I asked the German who sang a solo to sing one of Schumann's songs, so he sang The Two Grenadiers splendidly. Our men, they were a good audience. They really enjoyed his singing. Then Pope and I, we walked across. We just walked across, and we held a conversation with the German officer in command. One of his men introduced us properly. He asked my name and then presented me to his officer. I gave the latter permission to bury some German dead who are lying in between us. And we agreed to have no shooting till 12 midnight. 12 midnight tomorrow. We talked together. 10 or more Germans gathered around. I was almost in their lines. I was within a yard or so. We saluted each other. He thanked me for the permission to bury his dead. And we fixed up how many men were to do that, and that otherwise both sides must remain in the trenches. Then we wished one another good night, and a good night's rest, and a happy Christmas, and we parted with a smile. I got back to the trench. The Germans sang De Wacht am Rhein, and it sounded well. Then our men, they sang Christians Awake. It sounded well too. And with a good night, we all got back into our trenches. What a curious scene. Lovely moonlit night. German trenches with small lights on them, and the men on both sides gathered in groups on the parapets. At times we heard the guns in the distance and an occasional rifle shot. I can hear them now.